I'm Jason from TechAU and this is my Tesla Model Y L review. There's a lot new here to love and look through, so let's walk our way through that. But first we'll start on the outside and then jump inside.
Clockwork hard in a digital chest, dreaming the ghosts from the machine's rest.
When you first see the Model Y L from the outside, it won't immediately shout, "I'm different than the other variants," other than maybe the wheels might be the first thing you notice about it. So these are 19-inch and they are slightly different sizes between the front and the rear. So keep that in mind when it comes to sort of rotations. I like the design of these, although I would love to see a sort of a black variant to really contrast the color of the paint here. This is the Cosmic Silver, and when I first seen it, absolutely fell in love. It's almost like a champagne gold. It's quite nice depending on what color the light, what sort of light hits it. In terms of the other differences between this and the other models, you'll notice at the back there's sort of a re-profile, obviously accommodating for that third row, the headroom, the storage. So you will notice that it looks slightly different than a regular Model Y. The wheelbase is longer. And the other couple of telltale signs are the badging at the back here. So the Model YYY obviously represents the 3 rows of seating inside the car, which we'll get to in a minute. This is slightly redesigned, or a different texture to that rear light bar there. And this spoiler actually has a different it's quite aggressive, quite big compared to the regular Model Y. And that's to help with the aerodynamics. And although this thing's a little bigger, a little wider, a little heavier, obviously they're really great at extracting the most range from the vehicle. So that's a quick look from the exterior. Looks like a regular, updated, refreshed Model Y. Looks great. Modern, love the light bar. All the autopilot hardware, full self-driving is available here. Yeah, now it's time to take a look inside.
Clockwork hard in a digital chest, dreaming the ghosts from the machine's rest. 10 milliseconds, that's the price of a life, cutting through the friction like a surgical knife. They move like water, slow and unrefined. I see the lag in the human mind. They call it patience, I call it a leak. I find the power in the cold and the sleep. Input, output, delete the delay. The fat is a fire, I'll burn away. They resist the rhythm, they break the flow, but the logic is the only way I know. Cut the noise, find the light, moving at the speed of the bite tonight. Millisecond miracles, gold in the gears. The sound of the vacuum is all that I hear. Trim the fat, kill the slow, watch the beautiful sequence scream.
As we go inside the vehicle, let's take a look at the all-black headliner. This works so well with the black interior. It just really looks like a cohesive design through the lower half and then upper half of the body. And it really makes you wonder why they even went with the grey initially, because this just is an obvious choice, all black. There is going to be a contrasty, not a white version interior, it's sort of like a light grey, but I haven't seen that at this stage. But love that black headliner from sort of here upwards, looks great. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the new upgraded 16-inch display. For those not familiar with Tesla displays, this is your interface to the world. So all your vehicle controls are available here. You can jump into car wash mode. You've got all the personal preferences, so your profiles. You can have as many of these profiles as you want, which is really handy when you share the vehicle with other people. A bit of driver dynamics preferences. There is a new option here for rear comfort. That's a sort of hint at the upgraded suspension and handling that they've done with this Model Y to deal with that extra weight. Lots of different options here. Charging, so daily might be 80%, or on longer trips bump it up to 100. Self-driving, this one isn't equipped with full self-driving at the moment, but obviously that is an option. This is just autopilot. Locks, most of the time you're going to have a digital key is your phone, but you can always use the key cards that come with the car as well. Digital child lock, you turn on and off from here. Lights, lots of preference here. You've got the light ring that goes around the vehicle, and even in the second row, you can control the color of that. This is your first hint, a really good suggestion. There's something different in this. We'll look at the other rows in a second, but you can certainly control the other seats in the vehicle from up front, which is great. And we'll look at the other options in a minute. You've got light or dark options for the interface. That's, again, personal preference. The display brightness happens automatically, pretty much based on the time of day. Some scheduled charging stuff there. Also, for those not familiar, you've got in-cabin camera, you've got exterior cameras, and those exterior ones can basically be dash cams. So you have a storage drive in the glove box there, which let's have a look at that. So it's not massive, I will say. You know, digital release and then manual close. So then let's move through here. I don't think there's too much difference about most of this. And then software, just so we cover that off. We've got the Model Y L logo there. Done 512 Ks on the car now. And yeah, we're running version 2026.2.200 is what we're on at the moment. The navigation option here, trip data, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth options, audio settings. This is kind of fun to play around with. And the audio in here is amazing. They've done a really great job. So it is slightly upgraded again from the previous model. You've got things like grok in your interface here. So they're obviously LLM voice commands. Now it is starting to do some things like navigation, but you can't do everything you would normally do with the voice control. So the way it works is you've basically got a single press for the normal voice assistant, or double press for like press and hold for grok. And that is actually really great to sort of just have a conversation while you're driving in the car and get sort of live information. I sort of ask it to give me the latest news. So I really enjoy sort of having grok in the car. Again, not specific to the Model Y L, but it is a neat feature if you're going to buy one of these. And then you've got your streaming services, calendar. If you're stopped, you can watch Netflix and YouTube and those kind of fun things. So there is the browser, lots of climate control. Let's have a look at that. And here, you'll notice this is a bit different too, in that you've got some middle row and then rear as well. So they do have these side vents, which I'll take a look at. So yeah, lots of little tweaks they've made for the Model Y L to accommodate the differences in this one. All right, so now let's talk about seats, maybe the most interesting part of this vehicle. On the front, we've got these heated, cooled bucket seats. They're definitely super comfortable. On the front here, you've got this option to extend out, sort of like a leg support. For me personally, with longer legs, this doesn't really add too much, and they definitely could have left that out and I wouldn't have been heartbroken. But for some shorter people, maybe that makes a difference. This is lumbar support, position, and then your backrest stuff. But yeah, clearly it's all sort of digital, electronic, on rails, and yeah, you can control it by here or the screen or the mobile app. The next thing I want to show you is the second row. All right, so if we take a look at the second row now, you'll see that we find effectively the same set of seats that we found in the front in the second row, which is kind of great. If you're having this second row experience, it's very akin to being in the front. So I like to talk about them as second row being a first class experience. The difference you'll note down here is there is no leg support extension, and there's no lumbar support either. So a little note there. The other thing you'll notice is these have a button that you kind of have to reach around and then press to do these electronic armrests. If I get out of the vehicle, watch what happens. So it automatically puts down this armrest with the idea that somebody's going to then get out of here and then need to go back in. So we're going to make that nice and easy and convenient, because when I first seen that the buttons were here, I felt that's kind of like a bit awkward to have to, you know, lean over and reach in. That would have been almost better to have sort of controls on the B pillar here. But watching what they've done there, it's really smart that they've understood that there's a strong chance that you might need to access the back if you get out from one of these seats. Really well done, engineers. That's a really good design feature. Right, as a second row passenger, I said you're a first class citizen, and I kind of wasn't joking. You've got all the normal sort of controls over the touchscreen here, all your entertainment options, your cooling, you know, your volume, all that sort of fun stuff. You know, pockets for a bit of storage. But now you've got these, you've got your vent controls in the B pillar, as well as the normal controls in here, which is great for your climate. But yes, you've got this massive panorama roof. Let me show you a very cool thing that I found that they've included in the Model Y L that isn't present in the other vehicles. So if we go to the rear display here, and yes, this will give you access to all your normal climate stuff and your music and games and that kind of thing. But on the seat menu, for this side specifically, so the passenger side, you get an extra control here, and that allows you to control this front seat and move it right forward. And like, honestly, the amount of legroom that you can get here, I'm a tall dude at 6'2", and this is like a crazy level of room, like a very luxurious experience. Let's have a look at another option here, and that is to control the seats on this side. So if we were to fold that down, or want to fold that down, we don't have to mess around going to the front or asking the driver. We've just got the ability to tap a button here, and watch what happens there. The front seat moves to accommodate the space needed to fold that down. That's super smart. Again, we'd be able to put stuff in the back very easily, and then press it again, and then it does the reverse. I just love that. That's awesome. Access to the 2 USB-C ports here. You get access to cup holders that pop out like this. Of course, all the normal functions in here. The storage behind the seats. I would like this to be a little bit more generous, or ultimately I'd love a laptop tray there, would be my ideal, but that's not present. The one thing I would highlight is that if you've got a phone charging out of here, there's not really kind of anywhere to put it. I mean, you could put it up here, but obviously that's then susceptible to breaking and flying around. I would like the ability, sort of maybe a MagSafe adapter here to sort of magnetically attach your phone on the back of there, would be also then give you the ability to view it while you're traveling. Would be amazing. A couple of little suggestions there. You've got your normal sort of lights here, touch lights, and then a coat hook. Adjustable seatbelt here for the front row passengers is not found in the second row. So that may be something they can work through in the future. Would be a nice addition for those people who struggle with the angle of how that seatbelt wraps on them. There's a lot to love about the Model Y L and what they've done with the seating configurations. I really do want to point out one thing I think that might have missed on, and that is just the angle of the door for the rear row. That right there is as far open as that door goes. Yeah. So if you had a baby seat in here, you're trying to access it, you're going to have some challenges to sort of get around that. Or the other aspect might be if you're trying to fit, like, imagine a TV with a fixed box, you're trying to angle that in to sit it on the floor of there, you're going to really struggle, given that that hinge on that door doesn't open. And we've seen some other cars that do that to 90 degrees. So bit of a miss there, but outside of that, that second row experience is a very nice one. I'm going to take a second to touch on safety. So if you ever had the electronic system, the 12-volt system die, these sort of electronic controls to open doors are going to be out of action. So your normal door open button there is fine. On the front rows, you've got your manual release here, which is not designed for everyday use. But on the rear, you don't have that same sort of style. You do have your electronic release here as normal, but here there's nothing. It doesn't offer that same functionality. What they've done, I guess because you're going to have kids potentially, you want to lock this way a little further, is they've included a little release with a great icon down there to sort of let you know that's where it lives. So that actually used to be buried a little bit, or not as obvious. So I love what they've done in that space. All right, now it's time to jump in the third row. So what you do normally is probably jump into here, and then I've got to get back there. So a couple of different ways. I could fully turn around like this, bit of that. that would work. Or I think the most logical way is if I'm seated here, just take a couple of steps and sort of shimmy away back there, and you're into the back row. So if I did this, yeah, I'm a tall guy, I don't have a lot of leg room. But if you've got accommodating passengers, which I think you would, they're going to make some provisions and move their seats forward. So let's have a look at how that might play out. Right, so these are probably where I'd say I'd normally have the seats positioned. Still lots and lots of leg room, so we'll move these up a little bit to accommodate the fact that somebody's going to be sitting in the third row. All right, so I still have now, even with this seat moved forward, very comfortable driving position, lots of space still, but that gives us the ability now to move the second row forward. So if we do that, my legs are still not touching the seat in front of me. So 6'2", 6'3", if you like, tall guy, and I've still got plenty of space. I'll move up just a smidge more. And now, in the back, let's have a look what happens. Like, that now is such a way better experience. I can clearly get my legs in. Yeah, you'd be sharing a bit of knee room here with the person next to you. But man, like, I'm tall and I've got, what, a couple of fingers, a couple of centimeters worth of height between my head and the roof. So you could do 6 like adults in here. You do have your little dome lights up here if you want to do some reading in the back. You've got C-pillar vents for your AC. You've got cup holders in here, and then little buttons here that'll help recline the seat or move it forward a little bit. But yeah, it is pretty impressive what they've been able to achieve back here. I would say maybe I'd love a bit bigger window here. That would be amazing, but they're probably going for safety and that kind of thing. But yeah, outside of that, it's not 40 degrees. I would be interested to see what that looks like on a 40-degree day. Typically they do put tints on the glass to sort of deal with the Australian summer. But yeah, for the most part, you'd be able to get 2 adults back here. Do I want to travel 3 hours in the back of this? Maybe, if I had to, I would, but yeah, certainly those first 2 rows are very inviting. One final note in the back row here, you've got the top tether points for car seats in the second row, and then you've also got ISOFIX points down here for car seats in the third. So it would be a pinch, but you could put 4 car seats in the Tesla Model Y L. While we're talking views, that panoramic glass roof, let's talk about driving. So your driving experience starts with your driver profile, and you can have as many of those in the vehicle as you like, which is great for those who share the vehicle with others. This controls and locks in your seat position, music preferences, temperature controls, that kind of thing. Don't forget your phone is also your key. So once you've set that up, you can basically walk up to the vehicle, it unlocks, and when you walk away, it locks for you. Really great functionality that sort of sets the benchmark for the technology that's inside this vehicle. So let's talk about charging and range. You've definitely got the option to charge at home. Just remember to pick up one of the AC chargers if you don't already have one from Tesla on the checkout when you buy. When you're on the go, you've got a choice between destination chargers, often found at retail outlets or wineries and those kind of places. While they're faster than home, they're not the fastest possible. That comes from superchargers or third-party fast chargers, often found on freeways and the longer stretches. Tesla has access to the largest amount, given that they're the largest network provider. And if you buy a Tesla, you get access to all of theirs, as well as the third-party chargers as well. Naturally, the fast chargers are the most expensive way to charge the vehicle, although the trade-off is convenience and time. While the car is longer and wider and heavier, the work Tesla engineers have done to accommodate these changes in the suspension means that you barely notice that, which is a really impressive feat. Let's talk about performance. The 0 to 100 time of this car is 5 seconds, and for a mid-sized SUV, that's really impressive. If you are coming from an ICE vehicle, this is going to blow you away. If you're somebody who's already familiar with the performance characteristics of a Tesla, you'll know that all the speed goes to the ground. The traction control means that your wheels never slip, regardless of how fast you apply the throttle. That extra speed is great for taking off from the lights, merging into traffic and overtaking. I had the chance to take this car through the twisty bends of the Dandenong Ranges. I can tell you this car is incredibly fun to drive on a great stretch of road. Let's take a look at the trunk space. Storage is definitely something you're looking for when you buy an SUV, and the Model Y L has loads of it. So to start out, let's begin with the full configuration. So let's say a passenger preference. That means you're going to have less storage available to you. You've got the full-size frunk from the Model Y, that hasn't really changed. Got the drain plug if you need that. But on the back here, you can really fit a full-size suitcase and a backpack, or maybe two smaller suitcases. But then you've got the subfloor as well. So take the backpack out of there. Got this sub-trunk as well. And you'll notice what happened when I lifted this up. That cover actually magnetically attaches to that, which is a really great design attribute. Because if you've got larger things like a stroller or maybe a tent or something you're trying to fit in there, you can, or larger suitcases, leave it up like that and store it behind the rear seats. There are some pretty deep pockets on the side, both sides of here, so that's an additional set of storage there. And of course, maybe one thing people don't consider is that gap or that void presented by the, removing that middle seat. You could also stash a backpack or something there while you're traveling. So the next part of this, or the next configuration, let's call it the second configuration, you would fold down the rear seats. You notice the headrests flip down. So that's configuration 2. So you've got large suitcases, or maybe you go into the shops and bought a TV or something, would fit in there. That's a great option. So you've got then the 4 adult size seats in the front, and then a massive amount of storage in the back. So that is a really great option. But if we've been to Bunnings or IKEA or something and we've got extra storage needs, fold the second row down, and then look at that. I mean, that is an enormous amount of space. Now, what's going to happen with this? Third-party accessory manufacturers are going to go to town. If I was going to put something in there, a storage shelves or something I bought from the shop, I want to protect the back of those chairs. I want to protect the carpet here, so we need some sort of covering there. The next option you can think of, obviously people might want to sleep in the car. So this is, we're talking about a mattress that would accommodate 2 full-size adults. The difficulty here, or the challenge, is they'll need support where that void is. But if you can sort that out with a mattress on top of that, that is going to be a very nice place to stay sleeping under the stars, remembering that we've got that massive, massive panoramic roof to look up to the stars and the sky above. So that is storage in the Model Y L. And if we pull these back up, the final thing to touch on, come on guys, these ones too. It's just the headrests. They are automatic to flip down, but they do need a manual pull up on the back there. And of course you've got your top tether points there. It's part of the Australian design rules. But that is a look at the storage in the back. And the final thing, just so you've seen it, is let's have a look at that frunk. Again, it's that normal massive frunk in the Model Y. And yeah, drain plug if you want to put ice or cold stuff in there. It's huge. I mean, you're talking, again, a suitcase or backpacks and that sort of stuff in there. Groceries would be a great option for the frunk.
Watch the beautiful sequence create efficiency.
So that's my Tesla Model Y L review, and really to sum it up, I want to talk about just the potential target audience for a car like this. Certainly those people who had a Model X, this is a natural place to go now that they don't make those anymore. Let's talk about other target audiences. So what if you're a couple of adults and you want to take your parents for a drive somewhere, a road trip, maybe a weekend away or something? Because of what they've done in the first and second rows and just how good they've made that experience, I really think this is a great option. And we're going to see once it starts hitting the roads, that reflected in the sales charts. This variant is is a really great option. So now let's talk about price. So for the Model Y L, there is a lot new going on here, and so that comes at a cost. It's sitting in the third of 4 tiers in Australia. So we've got the entry-level rear wheel motor that starts around 65. This is around 80 on the road, we're talking, for the Model Y L. And obviously it sits under the performance, but this thing, in terms of dynamics, handling, performance, it's got lots of beans. 5 seconds is a 0 to 100 time that certainly anybody driving an ICE vehicle will be very impressed by. But if you are coming from an EV already, it's certainly great for off the line, pulling into traffic, overtakes, that kind of thing. It's great. So no slouch in terms of performance. I think for me, if you've got the dollars, the changes and upgrades they've made to this make a hell of a lot of sense for a lot of people. So the standard long range buyers, you'll have to opt up a little bit, open that wallet a little wider to accommodate the price tag, but I think it's well worth it. So that's it for the Model Y L review. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you like the video. If you like this kind of stuff from me, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it, and let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to buy a Model Y L?